Now everyone, we have been working with one class, and that's okay. But if we wanted to, let me see what's going on here. If we wanted to, oh, that's why. I'm just trying to see why this has an error. If we wanted to make another class, that's no problem either. And we can do it on this page. Oh, I didn't put all those spaces in there. Damn it. But let me just see something. Page height, that's there, that's there. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so if we wanted to make another class, it's real simple. We can just stay in the classes page and we can just go like this. Let's make another class and we'll call it, I don't know, jerk, right? So now we could then at this point just continue to make another construct where we have another name, age, thing, whatever. We can make another iteration. We can have all these different nameplates, what have you. We can make more of these. Or we can do what's called an extend. We can extends person. At this point, when you extend person, where's my another? Right there. When you extend person, what you can then do is you can make another class, another object called jerky, and we'll make it a new jerk. Now, you're going to notice that there's going to be an error, and it says that the person construct has 0 passed or whatever. And the reason is because we just took jerk and we extended from person. So now all the rules that we have here and all the aspects of it we have here reflect this. So we have to go this guy, and we have to say he's 21 because millennials are jerks. No, I'm just kidding. And we're going to say move. Height will be 5'8", just cause. And at that point, now, when we do that, we get no error, and we get a 2 you morons, because the jerk class extends from the person class. It's the same class, more or less. So the function, the destructor function, is going to still hold true here. And then at that point, we've made the jerky object. So now the jerky object, we can say jerky make name with that echo and everything that we've done before. I can't stand when it gives me these blue lines. And then we have this guy. So as you can see, we didn't have to do anything with this class. Now, if we wanted to do something with this class, if we wanted to come up with its own identifier, jerkness, let's say, I mean, by default it's public, but we'll just say public jerkness. And then we were to identify that with public function make jerkness. Put jerkness in there. And then we were to go this jerkness equals jerkness, and then return this jerkness. We can then come back here and we can say echo jerky make jerkness really a jerk. And then at that point, it'll echo it out. But as you can see, we can't then come back here and say echo me make jerkness. I'm not a jerk. We're going to get an error. And the reason is because the person class is not the jerk class. The jerk class extends from this information, but this class does not extend from this. This is a separate class. We just decided to jump off the original identifiers and everything to make it easier for us to create this class. Okay? So whatever we have here can't be used here. Not unless we somehow connect the two other outside this. But again, this is a separate class that was made after this one. So if it extends this, this class can't use any of its stuff, any of this stuff here. Now, what we can also do is we can say protected height let me get rid of this. Get rid of that. Protected height, in which case, if we do that, now this, well, actually, let me go like this. Echo jerky make height. Well, it still gives us because it's protected. And I think it's the function's not protected. That's what it is. So let's not do that. Let's go like this, and let's go like this. Instead of public, let's say protected function make height, and we get an error message where we can't use that really outside the person class because it's protected, meaning that we can't use that here with the jerk. Now, I don't think it would give me, I think it might give me a problem with this. Let me see, make height. If we used it in our me object, it might give us, yeah, it'll give us a problem. So we can't really use that outside that class. And again, if you were to make it private, if you were to make this private, then you wouldn't be able to use it at all. Like doesn't matter where it is. So when I was saying that I was going to show you a little bit more, with a little bit more investment or a little bit more intimately how private and public work. Like we can do this, in which case, when we're protected, we can do that, in which case we wouldn't be able to predetermine anything no matter which class we're using. Like this would be, if you want to use protected or private, you're not looking for user input. You are defining these things in the background. You're not allowing user input with protected and private. However, it's hard to illustrate that because protected, let me think. I'm going to try to, I want to think of a way that I can use protected. Let me think. Well, let's use this. We can go, let's go protected function destruct that doesn't allow any input. And as you can see, it won't, but it still does it for this. The shutdown is ignored on both of them, you know, because again, and if I use private, then you can't. I mean, it's just not showing the difference. I want to show you the difference so you know when to use one and when to use the other. See, this is private. It's going to say the same thing. But it's more like, again, I'm just trying to come up with with some semblance of a reason why to kind of like some kind of like diagram so you can see the difference between protected and private, because at this point it looks the same. But be that as it may, like I said, if you were to extend a class, you could keep making more classes and keep extending them, and you can make more functions and extend them too. within the, well, make more functions within these extended classes, and they could just do more things. So now, like I said, we have a jerk class, we have a person class and everything. And all of that works in this scope where we can keep doing stuff like this. We just keep, adding things to our functions, our constructor. We keep adding new classes, and we're just going to keep getting these different printouts. And, if you want to see it better, we can go like BR. Sooner or later I'm gonna find a way to illustrate private and protected differently for all of you. We will. We're gonna keep. I mean, again, now that we've learned, I want to know why this keeps going around. Well, I guess because now that we've learned how to make our own classes and our own functions and everything like that, for the most part, now we're going to really get into doing that from now on. Let me see. What are we at in time? Because I want to do something. 11 minutes. Let's screw around for a little bit more. Let's make another. Well, yeah. Let me just see. So let's go like this. Let's make another constructor here. And let's put this in here. So we'll have two constructors here. And I just want to show you what you do with that, right? So we'll go like this, and we'll go, make sure I get my syntax right. This jerkness equals jerkness. Okay, so what if you were to put a constructor here in an extended class? Right, let's take a look. Say undefined variable jerkness, and we're going to have to put that in there. But now, as you can see, we've already defined all of this, but now we got to go. Oh yeah, we got to get rid of that. Oh, hold on. Let's put that in there. And again, you don't have to call it these things. I'm just a buffoon. I'm a goofy little kid that likes using dirty words. Right, chickens. Okay. So you could do something a lot more, a lot more refined or a lot more dignified. Oh, by the way, learn how to spell your own stupid words. Well, yeah, no, because that was the argument. So now you don't really see anything, but if we were to go, I should be able to go like this. Right, like this doesn't make any sense. See, this doesn't show up. The make jerkness thing, we got to go like this. But we should be able to just go like this. And then at that point, nah, it's still not, well, yeah, it's still not there. Did I spell that right? I mean, it would have given me an error. Sorry, folks, we can't do that. I wanted to add that to the constructor, but it's not going to work. So let's get rid of that. Okay. And we'll have to just make the function separately. Because, again, you can't have two constructors. So that wouldn't make any sense. So we just have to do like this, like we did before. And you can't add to it per se. Because with the constructor, but inadvertently I showed you something and I wanted you to take a look at that. But let me just do this first. This jerkness equals jerkness. And now we can make that jerkness. But let me just explain that to you better. because as you can see, we did make height and everything, and it just kind of stops. There's no error, but it just stopped and didn't do anything else, and it's because it's confused. This is the base class, right? This is the predominant class. This is the parent. Remember we were talking about relationships, parents, children, and all that, grandparents, everything. This is the parent. So the parent then gives these traits to the child, which is this. This is the child. It extends. It's called inheritance. That's, if you ever saw inheritance, that's what this is. This parent gave the child this inheritance, these basic functions. So the child can use these basic functions. However, this constructor is what happens before any class that inherits from this class begins as well. So if you made another one that extends from the person, or even one that extends from the jerk, Mammy Pammy extends jerk even. And now you come here and you make a Mammy Pammy object. You're going to have to give it the arguments because it's still extending from the jerk class, which extends from the person class. This is the parent, this is the child, and this is connected to this, which is connected to this, so this is the grandchild of this, which means you have to go back and you have to, because we made it a constructor. Now, if you didn't make it a constructor, you wouldn't have to do that. But because we made a constructor, we're going to have to say mams 32, 5'3". You have to do that. You have to identify it. Otherwise, and now we have 3 destructors. Because as I said, the constructor and the destructor they're static kind of variables. They are going to run the moment the class is opened or the moment the object is created and the moment it closes. That's going to happen. So every class that extends from that is going to do that. You can't change that. You can't make a new constructor. You can't have 2 constructors. Making a new constructor here is the equivalent of making another one here. It wouldn't make any sense. So you can't do that. So if you want to do, like, it's always good to have a constructor for the most part, but make sure that if you will extend a class from another class like this or like this, you have to make sure, and again, this would have been the same thing if we said extends person. It would have been the same thing. Like, you would only want to extend from an extended class if that extended class, like if you really wanted to use the jerkness function here, then you would extend from jerk, because then you would get the jerkness, the height, the age, yada yada. If you just want the age, the height, the base classes and stuff, or the base functionality from the original class, then you just extend from the original class. Does that make sense? Like, you know, like, you only, when it comes to programming, especially when you're doing your own custom programming, you only want to take from other things what you need. You don't want to just take everything for the sake of taking everything. So if you don't need a jerkness class function, or if you don't need a jerkness identifier, or you don't need any of that jerk stuff, then you don't bring it on to the next class, extend it onto the next class. You just extend the base class because that's all you're going to need. And if you don't need any of this, then just make a new class. Don't extend it from anything. But that's what I wanted to show you about extending classes. Wait, I wanted to show one. Oh yeah. If we were to do this, as you can see, nothing's changed, and we can then go like this and say echo mammy make name, and it's still going to work. You know, it's not changing anything because we have all that functionality from the base class. But considering we're not just going to sit here making people, right? Let's relate this. Like, I want to get into some more MySQL stuff. Excuse me, I'm just belching, but we want to make this relatable to what we're doing. And even though we're not going to do things like what we're about to do in the way we're about to do it, I just want to show you how we can do something like this for creating new entries into our table here. and how I just want to show you how it can make things easier. And I have to figure out why this thing keeps giving me blank words and what have you. But I'm going to show you how to use classes or objects to create entries in your table when I come back.